So we got this today. Hate to see this. Wild to see this. From Indiana, this is Stephon Daley.
Oh my God, he just got hurt celebrating.
This is after the Ohio State-Indiana game. Obviously, Indiana won. He's one of their key players. I mean, on the year, 24 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. I mean, one of their better defensive linemen on a D-line that absolutely wreaks a ton of havoc and does a great job. I got tagged in this, which is crazy. And this, I guess, was after that. This is not what you want to see. Him on a cart afterwards. Okay, Sig said he'll be good in the presser. But this guy, whoever this guy is, I'm told that Indiana defensive lineman Stephon Daley will miss the rest of the season after suffering the injury in the win over Ohio State. Hello, this is AI. That's fried. So they're thin. Yeah, this is crazy. Getting hurt post-game, like getting hurt in celebrations always throws me for a loop, because how does this happen? It didn't even look like he jumped that high. I don't understand. I don't understand what happened. It doesn't seem like there's any official word on him yet with what his injury could be. So everything is kind of just speculation. Everyone trying to be first right now. Here goes. This is Indy Star 3 minutes ago. Oh, okay. Indiana defensive lineman. Indiana may or may not be without defensive lineman Stephon Daley during the College Football Playoffs. His status for the postseason is currently unclear, as rumors continue to swirl about a potential catastrophic injury for the Hoosiers. The university has not yet released any information regarding his health. I do not expect a definitive answer until the official injury report prior to the Rose Bowl. My guess is, if the images are real, he is out for the season. Yeah, that'd be a huge blow for Sig. It's something you never want to see. Yeah, I don't understand what happened. You hate to see that. And of course, what's some terrible luck for Indiana. You do have this. Want to talk about this,
I know how
too.
they got in there. It was a compromise. But America does not want to see Tulane, nor do we want to see James Madison in the college football playoff. This is great in the NCAA basketball tournament, Greeny. There are 68 schools. There are only 12 here, and we don't need them around. And I'm not going to give you the with all due respect, because I don't really care about Tulane or James Madison. They're both going to lose by 25 to 45 points. They'll be unwatchable games, and get them out of a playoff. Yeah, well, it's time to get rid of the G5 schools. And
Josh Pate there just looking. Hey, look, Feinbaum has been in the L column for most people for a long time. This is going to get him in the dub column. And not that it's necessarily what I agree with, because I think if you put Duke in there, it's also the same thing. And I do hear the 12 best teams thing though. I think it's good when one G5 team makes it. 2 feels a little bit aggressive, but that's kind of how things ended up. And honestly, this gets fixed if a school like Notre Dame is in the conference, because if they're in the ACC, then they're in. Just the format's kind of busted, but just a good way for him to get back in the win column, because he's been in the L column for a while. Ha, that's funny. Herd bros. They'll both lose by 25 to 45 points. They'll be unwatchable games. Glad we finally set the bar, Paul. Wow. For the first round watchable games, I recommend the following 2024 college football first round games: Ohio State versus Tennessee -25, Penn State versus SMU -28, and then no G5 matchups. Okay, yeah, there you have it. The fear of G5 school game being a blowout is all the noise, but these games were literally scores last year. We want to talk about TCU losing 65-7 to Georgia in the national championship. Sounds like maybe the ACC should do a better job next time. I guess that's my big thing, is I think in college football, because teams at the top are going to be so fantastic, you're naturally going to have some of these blowouts that look and feel and get really, really ugly. So I do kind of disagree with Paul Feinbaum on that, because I don't, whatever. And also, Bama just lost their SC, by double digits. What is that? Yeah. While you're here, leave a like, leave a comment. drop a sub, hit a share. It all helps us. We are on the road to 10K. We do it with you guys. I don't know. It's a lose-lose. This one I thought was cool, too. Lane Kiffin, LSU assistants are heading back to Ole Miss for the playoff. 4 offensive coaches who followed Kiffin to LSU are returning to Oxford with agreements to let them coach against Tulane despite their LSU contracts. Again, this is like very like Trojan horsey, right? Less than 2 weeks ago, Lane Kiffin gave Ole Miss assistant an ultimatum. Get on the plane with him to Baton Rouge, or he couldn't guarantee a new job for them at LSU. Now those staffers are flying back to Mississippi State for the playoff run. Now, keep in mind that obviously, like, Ole Miss didn't want Lane Kiffin there. One of the big fears was he was going to gut their team. But it's like you're going to send his assistants in, they're going to kind of gut the team. So it's just one of those. It's one of those weird sub stories. But also LSU is paying the bonuses if Ole Miss wins that Lane Kiffin would have got if he was still at Ole Miss. So that's like its own like separate like situation. On Monday for LSU, offensive coaches who followed Lane Kiffin to Mississippi returned to Oxford to help prepare and coach the Rebels for their upcoming college football playoff game against Tulane. Just quick disclaimer: I think that that Ole Miss and A&M should have flipped, and Ole Miss should have had to prove a game against Miami because you're not going to learn anything about Ole Miss from them playing Tulane. And also, like, it's gotta mean something. It's gotta mean the falling of one spot. The coaches returned to campus with Kiffin's blessing to give defensive coordinator turned permanent head coach Pete Golding additional help ahead of the program's first college football playoff appearance. Go win it all, Kiffin tweeted with the dove emoji in response to that report. The dove emoji. Tight end coach Joe Cox, wide receiver coach George McDonald, and assistant quarterbacks coach Dane Stevens, and slot receiver coach Sawyer Jordan are the 4 coaches who rejoined the Rebels are expected to be with the team through its college football run, ESPN reported. They joined offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr., who is taking the same role under Kiffin at LSU, but running Mississippi's offense during the postseason. Get that off the screen. 5 assistants signed a binding memorandum of understanding with LSU that includes a non-compete clause, a Baton Rouge radio. Oh, what host is this? What do we think? Oh, I like Matt. It's cool. Okay, yeah. So there's no concern on LSU's end of any of the coaches remaining with the Rebels. All will return to LSU when Ole Miss's college football playoff run ends. It was the right thing to do. The officials said the decision to allow the assistant to finish coaching at Ole Miss, also confirming they would have allowed Lane Kiffin to coach at Ole Miss, and the CFP had AD Keith Carter allowed him to do so. Wow, LSU. They just look right so often. Amid this ugly breakup with the school, Kiffin tried to pressure Rebel administration into letting him coach the team after taking the LSU job. Kiffin was 55-19 in his 6 seasons there. Well, I didn't realize. That sounds like such a great record. Here it is. LSU has said it will pay Kiffin the playoff bonuses he was supposed to receive in his Ole Miss contract. He's already netted $150,000. A $150,000 bonus for the Rebels, hosting a college football playoff game, and we get $250,000 more for a berth in the quarterfinals. Should Ole Miss beat Georgia and make the semifinals, Kiffin would be paid $500,000 and make $750,000 and $1 million for an appearance in the national championship and national title, respectively. LSU officials told reporters Tuesday the school would have let Kiffin coach Mississippi through the college football playoff if Carter had granted his request. Love it. This one I thought was a great story. I'm going to go over here. Troy Aikman is done funding NIL. Didn't even get a thank you. If you're a college player who happens to get NIL money from Troy Aikman, please make sure you send him a thank you note. Although it sounds like aspiring UCLA Bruins and other college football players probably won't have to worry about it because according to Aikman, he's done cutting checks to fund anyone through NIL. Aikman joined the latest episode of Sports Media with, Richard Disich? Where they began talking about Lane Kiffin leaving for Ole Miss, LSU, and Aikman acknowledged he believes players should have the right to leave a school when a coach does. Facts. I don't think anybody would argue that. I think that's kind of pretty standard around here. The Monday Night Football analyst also aired his grievances with the portal and NIL. There's got to be some leadership at the top. There's got to be some leadership at the very top that kind of cleans all of this up. starting with players that accept money. There's got to be some accountability and responsibility on their behalf to have stick to a program. I gave my money to a kid. I won't mention who. I've done it one time at UCLA. Never met the young man. He was there for a year, left after a year. I wrote a sizable check, and he went to another school. I didn't even get so much as a thank you note. So it's one of those deals. I'm done with NIL. I want to see UCLA be successful, but I'm done with it. It's easy to be pro-player empowerment as far as a fan. Players should be able to go from one school to another without sitting a season, just as coaches always have. And a player should be able to profit off their name, image, and likeness. Yeah, whatever. That one player, a player left UCLA, Troy Aikman's involved, left after 1 year and went to another school. A lot of people, myself included, probably think it's Dante Moore, who's having a really good year this year. This is awesome. When people talk about the turnaround for Cignetti, this is where you start. These are all the JMU transfers to Indiana and how impactful they've been this season. Surratt, 687 receiving yards, 12 touchdowns, including the slot fade against Ohio State, and he missed a month. Kalen Black, 780 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns, 5.6 yards per carry. He's been fantastic. Aiden Fisher, another fantastic one, 33 solo tackles, 2.5 sacks, 2 INTs. D'Angelo Pons, 31 solo tackles, an interception, and 7 pass breakups. Tucker, 16 solo tackles, 5.5 sacks, and multiple NFL guys from last year. Dog. This is why I will never want to shut out the G5. These are a bunch of G5 players, man. These are all the JMU transfers. Then this year out of the portal, not from JMU, the kid who just got hurt, the Daley kid from Kent State, 24 solo tackles, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's been really awesome. That'll be a huge blow if he doesn't play. Boykin from NC State, 27 solo tackles, a forced fumble, 2 picks, 5 pass breakups. Fernando Mendoza, 3,000 yards, obviously going to win the Heisman. Robin Hemby was great at Maryland, was better here. They're just on a tear right now, and they're going to keep getting better and better and better transfers. Like year 1, it was a lot of the JMU transfers. Year 2, it was a lot of the P5 players from reject schools. Next year, they're going to take some big fish. Like they're going to make a run. My guess is at CJ Baxter, the kid at Texas. They're going to make a run at Sam Levet. Like they're going to make a run at Mason Heinstall. They're going to make a run at a lot of really good players because once can be a coincidence, can be Mel Tucker. Twice, that's a pattern. 3 times, that's a trend. And I think that people are noticing. And with Mark Cuban over there at Indiana, they're going to have a lot more backing than I think a lot of people realize. Heartline, see what he's got.
Crazy message, just come see us. Not a crazy message versus just come see us. Come talk to us. I'm not here to talk you into becoming a Bull and being at USF. I'm here to make sure I articulate clearly what we can provide, what we can do, and what the outcome can be. And I think that anytime you're begging and pleading and trying to talk people into doing something, that's usually not a good recipe for a good outcome. So want to do a great job building a great sustainable culture here with winning. And you know the resources and the stadium and the performance center, that's all coming. And so the platform is here. USF football is now, and just want to see others to see that. Not a crazy message versus just come see us, come talk to us. I'm not here to talk you into becoming a Bull and being at USF. I'm here to make sure I articulate clearly what we can provide, what we can do, and what the outcome can be.
Didn't mean to play it twice. Wanted to hear some of the beginning stuff. So I'm curious how soon before Brian Hartline lands his first big fish. I do like the media tour. I think he looks good as a head coach. I think that like he's going to have a certain level of swagger. It's just like when will he start landing the bigger fish? And will that first grouping, will it be a real transfer portal violent season? That's what I'm really curious about as well. I do like Jim Rome, does a good job, good interviewer. So shout out Jim. I don't understand how anyone.
Notre Dame declined their bowl bid. Was there any thought to that going on here at Vanderbilt today?
No. I mean, I can't speak to their process, but we love playing football here, and to realize that we get a chance to close out a special season with a special group of players on a great bowl stage in a great city against a really, really tough opponent. I mean, as a football fan, as a football coach, as a football person, it's hard not to get excited about that. So there was no way that we were going to end this story early, and I'm so excited to be taking this team down to Tampa, and I got a chance to spend, I think, like 23 days or so with them. We're going to soak up every one of those days. So looking forward to that.
It doesn't feel used car saley. It doesn't feel phony. It doesn't feel too rah-rah. It's very, like, quiet confidence, but also, like, a really deep appreciation for the game. And it's wild because, like, in a world where we're all college football fans, he feels like a pure 2014, 2015, like, college football coach. And, like, his team didn't really take on the personality of Pavia. It took on his personality, and Pavia was kind of the outlier personality in all this. I think he's an incredible coach. I think he's going to end up being to the SEC what Pat Fitzgerald is. I don't know if it's going to be good every year, but every now and again, it's going to be really, really good. They're going to be really tough out, and eventually at some point he's going to break through. I mean, he could be what those Michigan State teams were in the Big Ten for a while. I really, really like Clark. I think he does a great job, and I think that he deserves celebrated for that press conference.
Real, but also we need to be more realistic. I mean, the penalty that we receive is going to be over $30 million. And in that particular case, we're going to find a way to deal with it. But that would bankrupt a lot of programs. Yeah. But also we need to.
It is funny. Obviously, Intrinsic is like really on the Michigan thing. He will not let them run it all. And I guess this was Ward Manual, I assume, pretty recently. I didn't really double check. But Chris Ballas on Justice Haynes' return, Michigan donors are hesitant. I think there's a legit chance, as I said before, but they got to come up with the money. Some donors have been a little more hesitant, which is like really unique, kind of where we're at. But I think Michigan needs to have a big, big portal class, and I do wonder if this $30 million fine will maybe hurt their portal class. I think they need offensive weapons, and they need a new offensive infrastructure to start to build around Bryce Underwood, or else it's not going to work. So just keeping a really close eye on Michigan. Sorry, guys, I hate coughing into the microphone. All right, BYU people who are also upset, and it's funny because it firmly, to me, feels like the most openly corrupt in terms of like media and governing body relationship that nobody really cares about is ESPN and the SEC. Now, people talk about it and care about it, but not enough to tear it down. They more just like talk about it like almost to accept it. This is the front office sports. The college football playoff bracket is set. Each selected team receives $4 million for making the playoff. Here's the breakdown by conference. SEC, $20 million. Big Ten, $12 million. Big 12, 4. ACC, 4. American, 4. Sun Belt, 4. BYU fans are upset, as they should be. They slid after losing the conference title game, and Bama did not slide, but whatever. They wouldn't have been in either way, and there is obviously the G5 thing. ESPN owns all the broadcast rights to the college football playoff. All college football playoff money is paid by ESPN. ESPN owns all SEC broadcasting rights. ESPN owns all ACC broadcasting rights. ESPN isn't the primary owner of the Big Ten or the Big 12 rights anymore. ESPN doesn't own primary Notre Dame broadcast rights. Is anyone surprised? ESPN managed to invest $20 million into its main product and found a way to shun the more deserving Big 12 program and or Notre Dame to invest $4 million in its ACC product itself. Only $16 million to the Big 10 and the Big 12, where ESPN has minimal broadcasting rights compared to $32 million paid to ESPN-owned conference rights. Follow the money, and it all makes sense. Again, it's just openly accepted in the world. BI?
That was the message me and Caleb were saying coming back into the locker room. We've been more. That was the message me and Caleb were saying coming back into the locker room. We've been more. We know what it takes now. We know what it takes to turn a loss into something great.
That's what football is. Whoever executes at the highest level is going to have the better chance to win the game. And we got to go with the urgency every day to put us in that situation. And sometimes you need a little bit more motivation. So we'll go from here.
This was a staff failure. I hope it pays out. This was from Saban, right?
Maybe the best thing, to happen to you. Now, when you lose a game and you're a coach or a player, that doesn't resonate very well because you're kind of down in the dumps that you didn't win. But in the long run, sometimes it helps. I mean, we only had 2 teams that went undefeated the whole time I coached. And we won national championships with 1 loss most of the time.
Oh, man.
And most of the time we lost, we needed to lose because we weren't focused on the right stuff.
Okay.
I pushed back when Tyler said that he doesn't view this team as an all-time great team anymore because they lost the 1 game. And my thing is like we look back at all those Bama teams, like they were monsters, man. Like they were like the Monstars from whatever. Like they were the team. And I think that you can lose a game, and if they go on the run, you'll still remember this team as an all-time dominant team. I hope that Ryan Day learns the lessons that that he learned from Michigan last year, just a week later. I know it's not as emotional because the Indiana loss is not as hypercharged as Michigan was or is, but there are some lessons that need to be had. And I think the really separator between like the all-timer teams ends up being roster, and then it also ends up being can you right your wrongs while you're still winning, like we saw 2019 LSU do. And the really great teams, the really elite teams, instead of the all-time great teams, they sometimes need a loss to kind of realize that potential. But this team is full of NFL guys. I do like that BI kind of spoke on it, and I do love the captain's take on this.
Yeah, and this is one of those things in this modern college football era that I can't 100% get a grasp on because, listen, I still believe winning your conference, winning the Big Ten is so important. So Ohio State, their season, it's a big black mark on their season. Now, can they go win the whole thing again? Yeah, they definitely can. Is there a school of thought that losing this game, like how they lost to Michigan, could actually benefit them going into the playoffs? Sure. But still, Ohio State now, I don't know, I think since 2000, it's been a long time, maybe even before that. They haven't won a Big Ten title in forever. Everyone thinks Big Ten goes through Ohio State. It just doesn't. That's just a lie. They haven't won the conference in forever. And Ryan Day, and this is what I said, I've been saying the entire season, I said it would be Michigan. I said you put pressure on this team. Game pressure.
It's so disingenuous and wrong, and I think this is a good point from White Skin Assassin. Conference champion is going to be parallel to winning your division in the NFL. You can get credit, but no game will be played. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, right? And also, like, the other side of it is, like, no one looks at the SEC that same way. Like, it's just win the natty. And I think, like, the people that are going to hang on to this are going to be the Michigan fans that, like, okay, like, look, like, our, our claim to fame is going to be the last true champion. So that's what I got. Just want to go through like a quick internet update, a quick, give my thoughts on a couple things that happen around the cultural internet world. I'll be back probably a little later today. Just want to get this out here for the morning slot. Ron and Q are taking a couple days, but shoot them a message. They're always around. And make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.